welcome back to Real Talk.
With real siblings.
Holla at
That's
your girl.
right.
Holla at your boy. Yo, school is in session
Yes,
today.
sir.
Okay? School is in session. All right. And what we are about to do, we're giving out grades, baby.
Tell them.
We're giving out report cards. All right. We're giving out a grade to the Big Brother All-Stars, the players left in the game, and we are going to evaluate their game and let you know who we think is playing the best game, who's playing a trash game, who's at risk for getting evicted, and who's sitting pretty.
Yep. So we basically have it broken down A through F, and the way it's going to work is based on their gameplay for the last week. So we're basically stopping kind of roughly around Memphis's HOH win. And the way it's going to work is that A essentially means that not only are they not likely to be evicted, but also they're actively getting someone else that they want out of the house evicted, right? So you got to be playing good defense and good offense.
Yes.
B means that you're doing one or the other, right? You're either really safe yourself or you're doing a good job of pushing people out of the house that you don't like. A C means you're just kind of blah. You're not particularly safe. You're not particularly at risk. You're not particularly great offensively. You're not particularly defensively. A D means that either you are likely to be evicted or your allies are likely to be evicted, which means you're not protecting yourself or anybody else. And an F means that you're likely to be evicted and your allies are likely to be evicted, which means you're the Falte Alliance. That's what the F stands for. Trash. You're not accomplishing anything.
Shout out to Falte.
Falte
They
sucks.
tried. Who flipped? Who flipped? Who flipped? Tell me who
F stands for flipped. All right. So let's get to it. We're going to go in alphabetical order to avoid any bias. Otherwise, we would start with Janelle and end with Janelle. So
start with Janelle, end with Kaiser, and not talk about anyone else in between.
So number one is Bailey. How are we feeling about Bailey?
I like where Bailey is at right now. I mean, she's connected to the house. I don't think she's at risk. I don't think she's at risk of being backdoored. I think that there are other people who are not as connected and who are bigger threats. And so I think Bailey's doing pretty good. And I think we gave her a B.
B minus C plus. Yeah. Number two is Christmas.
What do you think? You start.
Yeah. I mean, so we give her a B, right? It's interesting for her because she, this week, just after Memphis won HOH, she was in a good shape because technically she's in that alliance with Memphis. And then she did that thing with protecting Ian, which seems like a good move if Ian is her ally, but is Ian her ally? Like, I don't really know. So we gave her a B. I mean, she seems to be safe. She's not likely to go up as a replacement. She seems to kind of be protecting someone. I don't know if that's good for her, but she's in good shape so far.
Yeah. Then we have Cody. I think Cody's in a pretty good position. He's close with Memphis. Memphis respects him. So Memphis will listen to him. Whether Memphis will do exactly what he says, not necessarily. I don't think Memphis is looking to kind of defer to someone that much, but I think Cody's certainly not at risk. But he is able to actively work on getting out his opponents, people that he's identified who are threats to him. And, he has some influence and agency with Memphis in terms of pushing his agenda.
Yeah, so we gave Cody a B+, which is actually probably the highest. It's definitely, it's the highest grade we gave out. He's in a great position. He's exerting a good amount of influence and control over the house. So good job, Cody. Next is Danny.
Danny is in an interesting spot. I mean, everybody's in an interesting spot. I think Danny's in a good spot. She's well respected and well liked and well, believed and respected and all that sort of stuff with her own alliance. And I think even outside of her alliance, she's not necessarily a target. I think people outside of her alliance are looking more at, Memphis and Enzo and Cody specifically. And so Danny's kind of, in a good spot because she's flying under the radar. I think she has some inroads with Memphis and that she's in his line. So he's not, she's not a potential backdoor. Mm-hmm. But, Memphis and Danny had a conversation earlier today and that left Danny feeling kind of pissed and feeling like Memphis does not listen to her and doesn't really respect her, her thoughts or her, her ideas as to who should go up. So in that sense, she's not really in a position to really push who she wants out. So because of that, she gets a
B.
B.
Give her a B.
Yeah.
It's solid. I mean, B is about as high as, I mean, A is pretty dominant. So B is solid.
Yeah.
Next we have David. Oh, David. So I'm glad to say that we've given David a D for David. He's not doing great this week. I don't think that's a secret to us or him or anybody. Yeah, he's on the block. He's probably the main target on the block. I don't know if he even has a stable alliance, really, of people that are looking out for him. I don't know if he even knows what a veto is still at this point in the game. He's in a bad spot. The only reason he doesn't have an F is because I think he's not part of a loser alliance where they're all about to get mopped up. So
yeah. D
yeah.
D is for David. It's also for Dyer. It's also for Doom, because unless he can pull some rabbit out of his hat, he's not faring well. I mean, we don't know if he's a comp beast because we haven't really seen him in much. And his social game is kind of so it'll be interesting. I mean, he's going to have to gun for that veto. And if he's not, I think his best bet might just be trying to play on the sympathy of people. And, who knows how far that will get him, if that will get him off the block.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, Nicole A kind of does that same game, and she's more charming than he is in a lot of ways. So sorry, David. Good luck. 6 is Davon. How do we feel about her?
I like Davon. I think she's, her and Bailey are working together. And I think, because of that, they're kind of in a similar place. They're making similar moves. They're connected to similar people, but they're also making similar mistakes in that, I wish they kind of would have had a divide and conquer type of approach and focus on different types, different people in the house. But instead, I kind of feel like they have the same connection to people. But because of that, they're a little bit limited because right now, neither of them have any ear with Memphis. So, it's not a bad game. I don't think they're, again, at risk for being backdoored. But I would give her the same grade. She gets the same grade as Bailey, which is a B plus.
C plus. C plus, B minus, yeah.
Yeah, that.
Right, smack dab in the center.
Yes.
Next we have Enzo, the meow meow, Mr. Meow. He gets a B. I mean, he's similar to Danny, similar to Cody, kind of similar to everyone on that Memphis Mega Alliance, even though he's not necessarily in it. He's in a good spot. He has influence. He's working closely with Memphis, the current HOH. He seems like a decent competitor. Nobody is necessarily targeting him directly. I think if Janelle and Kaiser win or the other side of the house wins, he's not the only target, right? There's other targets. If he were to play the safety suite or win veto, right, they would be fine nominating someone else. So I think he's relatively safe, and he's on the safe side of the house right now.
I agree.
Solid D.
Next we have Ian. Ian, your boy.
My number one pick.
Your final four. I forgot he's your number one pick. Oof.
No, we'll see. That's not going to be right.
Oh, you must have been feeling scared before.
The sweaty armpits. I was feeling it.
Why don't you talk about Ian?
Yeah, my boy. So we gave him an A plus. He's actually doing great. He's going to solve all the problems. He's going to win. So
he's not getting an A plus. Not at all.
We actually gave him a C minus. He's actually not doing great this week. He's kind of struggling. Obviously, he was the main person to go on the block until Christmas used the safety sweep thing on him. If that had been a deliberate play by Ian, if he had been the one to manipulate Christmas into giving him safety, I think we can give him a higher grade. But it's not clear that that's the case. We don't quite really know what Christmas's reasoning was, why she feels any affinity for Ian. Maybe that'll come out in the episodes that come, when we get to watch the episodes more, but it seems like that just kind of happened. So we can't give him too much credit for that. A C minus means he's still kind of at risk, but he's not completely messing up for him or his allies. And he has a bit of an alliance with Nicole A and Kevin, who we'll get to.
Yeah, but he needs more people around him. He needs more buffers, which is why he gets the grade that he gets. So, yeah. But I love Ian. I don't want to see him leave anytime soon. So it might be a scary next couple of weeks for him.
Yeah.
So next we have everybody's starlet, who is trending on Twitter because she is a queen. Okay, she's a queen 24/7, man. Oh, Janelle. She's so amazing.
But we slightly disagreed on what grade to give her. So you can go first.
Yeah. So I would give Janelle a B minus. And, the good thing about Janelle is that I still think she's a comp beast, and I still think she can win competitions. So I think that can kind of help save herself. The bad thing is that even though right now she's in good with Memphis, Memphis does not want to put her up. That's why her and Kaiser did not go up. The rest of Memphis's alliance wants to backdoor her, and it looks like they're going to try to strong arm Memphis into doing that. So because of that, she is at risk. I think she's playing a good enough game because she's trying to, get those people around her. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It all kind of depends on what happens with the veto.
Yeah, I thought we disagreed, but no, that makes sense. Yeah, she's a B minus. That's perfectly the position she's in. I agree with that. So next up, your boy Kaiser.
Kaiser. Oh, Kaiser. What up, Kaiser? Kaiser again is in a tight spot. He's kind of in a similar spot as Janelle, but I think slightly better because people perceive him as less of a threat. Probably because he tanks that last HOA competition. Like, he was out first. That's probably why they're like, why are we afraid of Kaiser again? Why? Because he sucks. He doesn't. But I would give him a little bit of a better grade. I think I'd give him a B because I don't think he's at risk. I think Memphis wants to work with him. He has said that. And if Memphis is going to backdoor anybody, that's an if, it's going to be Janelle. It's not going to be Kaiser. So I don't think he's at risk of leaving this week. And I think he's making, inroads with various people. Kaiser and Bailey are in a good spot. They talk a lot. Yeah. And Christmas likes Kaiser, not because she wants to work with him, but she's trying to work him. But either way, I think if she thinks that she can have Kaiser in her pocket, she's not going to be an advocate to try to get him out. So, yeah. So because of that, he gets a B.
Okay.
Yeah,
makes
he gets
sense.
a B.
Good job, Kaiser. Kevin. So we're giving Kevin a D. D is for disappointing because Kevin had a great opportunity after being put on the block last week to kind of forge some early alliances, especially early in the game when people are up for grabs on who they want to align with. And he really squandered it. He really didn't build a coalition around him. The people that voted for him to stay, which was everyone, he somehow managed to not pull any close friendships or close relationships out of that. He kind of has a friendship with Nicole A, who he's been whispering poison to. And that might be it. I mean, Ian to some extent, but he really hasn't done anything to change himself from the outcast that got on the block last week. And I think depending on what happens next week, he'll probably go back on the block. I know Memphis had discussed him potentially being the regular pawn, right? That goes up every week, which is never a position anyone wants to be in.
That's true.
So, yeah, he's still a D. I think he's kind of still on the cusp, and we'll see how he bounces back or if he bounces back from this.
I also just don't respect the game he's playing. In a way, to me, he's playing a similar game as Nicole F. Yeah. But he has, not that I would say Nicole F is at all charming, but maybe because she's a woman and really that sort of oh, I'm pitiful and I complain, maybe that works better or it's received better when she does it. But I always, when I see him, I just think of Varys from Game of Thrones, just constantly whispering and in the shadows. And I don't like it. I want to see bold moves from him. We're not going to get it. So yeah, I gave him, I agree. Whatever low grade we can give him, I agree.
Next is the HOH himself, Memphis.
Okay, so obviously Memphis is the HOH, so he's not at risk for being evicted. But he has managed to piss off his entire alliance, Everyone's pissed off at him. And one, they're pissed off that he didn't put up, Janelle or Kaiser or both. And then apparently after his nomination speech, now the whole house is pissed off at him. He took a shot at David, who's not coming after anyone. He said some rude statements that have kind of been, maybe misinterpreted, maybe not. I don't know. We don't know what exactly he said. So we'll have to see it. I can't judge and say it was a misinterpretation. We don't know. But as Bailey put it in the house when she was talking to Davon and David, I think she was like, look, Memphis knows the climate that we are all in as a nation. And he did not care in terms of, what he said. So now the whole house has managed to, is kind of pissed off at him. And that's not a good spot for an HOH to be, because guess what? He can't play in the HOH competition next week. So
Yeah. And, he's not a physical comp beast, as we saw in that first competition where he belly flopped into the grass. So, he needs to be careful.
So because of that, he gets a B-.
Careful, Memphis. We're watching you. Just kidding. We don't care. So next up is Nicole A. Nicola, as
Nicola.
So we had a slight disagreement here. What are your thoughts on her?
I want to give her a D-. And I'll tell you why. Because Nicole just sucks. I'm sorry. She's just so bad. Like, she's just bad at everything.
Her brain don't work.
She's bad at thinking. She's bad at strategizing. She's bad at reading literally anything. She has zero reads. She can't read anything to save her life. She trusts the wrong people. She doesn't trust the people she should trust. Like, she can't do anything right in this house. And the only person she trusts is Kevin. Janelle is actually going to bat for her and trying to help her out, but she doesn't trust Janelle because of what Kevin is saying. And so she just, every time you see her on the feed, she's complaining about, oh, I'm scared. She's scared of this or scared of this person. And she's not a comp beast. Like, to me, she's a sinking, burning, flaming ship. Like, she's not going anywhere but down. I'm sorry.
I mean, I agree with perhaps your comment about who she is as a person, right? How personal that got. I agree with some of that. But like,
I like her as a person. She's cute and funny, but she sucks as a game player. She just does.
And I think she benefited from a season where everyone was so reprehensible that she really came off as nice and great and was able to come back this season, because compared to her cast, she was an all-star, but compared to all-stars, she's a church mouse. And I think that's what's showing. I think this week she played it okay. I think having Janelle in your corner is an automatic C or above, right? I mean, because one, Janelle's a beast who can do a lot to protect you. And two, Janelle's a huge target who will protect you Nicole A will probably go before. Janelle will probably go before Nicole A. So she at least has that buffer unless, something competition-wise happens and Nicole's vulnerable. So I think I gave her a C this week. I think she's kind of smack dab in the middle. She's not a primary target. She's not super, safe. She's not nearly as safe as Cody or Kaiser or Memphis or some of these people. So I think she's a C.
Okay. All right. We'll see. Nicole Franzel.
Yeah, she's an F. So I gave her an F for Franzel and for failure and for Rat Cole. No, I'm kidding. She's like, what did I give her? She's a C. She's in the middle too. She's not necessarily as much in control as you would expect with one of her allies as HOH, which shows kind of not too much influence in that regard. Ian was one of her allies who was potentially on the block, so she's not doing a great job protecting her allies. Christmas had to do it for her for some reason. And she herself is still a target of part of the house, right? Janelle still wants to go after her, and maybe just Janelle, but Janelle's is a big gun, so that's not someone you want coming after you. So yeah, I don't think she's particularly vulnerable. I don't think she's particularly safe. I think she's a C.
I agree. I like that. And last but not least, certainly not least, we have Tyler.
Both of our pick for the top four.
That's true.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think Tyler is still in a good position. I think this week could be interesting though, because David is Tyler's boy. And Tyler seems committed to putting in the work to keep David.
Yeah.
And Tyler is not a fan of Memphis. So, it'll be interesting to see if Tyler kind of puts maybe a target on his back, kind of the way Janelle did last week by kind of, pushing for Keisha so hard. But I think actually Tyler won't, I think Tyler will be okay, because now it kind of seems like the whole house doesn't like Memphis. So I think Tyler could probably openly campaign for David, drop some seeds, plant some seeds about Memphis being an a-hole and needing to get out. His words, not mine. And be okay. So because of that, and he's in a good position, people like him in the house. I don't think people think he is the brains of any operation. And he's not really, actually. He's kind of playing a solo game, but being well connected to people. So I give him a B.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. That's a really solid analysis. So that is it. That's all from us. We have given the grade to each of them. We would like to see your grades. Where do you think each of these people rank? Also, give us a grade. How accurate do you think our predictions were? I'm sure you're going to say an A, but it's okay to go lower. These are fine. Let us know what you think. Leave a comment. Who do you think's playing the best game this week? And we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you next week.
This has been Real Talk
With real siblings.
Bye.